Can we get one more round of applause for our audience? So I'd like to kick the evening off by asking you, what inspired you? Like, what inspired you to write this book? What inspired you to kind of take this journey that has now resulted in this wonderful memoir of your experiences?
Sure. Okay, I'll answer. But first, I just want to say I'm so honored and thankful to be here. This is my first book and my first book signing. So it's amazing to do it here in New Orleans. I'm a little nervous, but I'm so excited to be here. Thank you. And I also just want to acknowledge the tragedy that happened here earlier this month, and just, thank you for coming out. Like, I know a lot is happening in the world, and I appreciate you for coming out tonight to talk about this book. And I also just want to note that I see some incredible faces in the crowd who are actually included and featured in the book. So I'm gonna y'all wanna wave? Ayanna Llewellyn right here. Gabrielle Miller is featured. Sydney, I don't know if you know, but you were in the book. Your name is in the book. Yes. And Jay Hagler in the back over there is featured in the book. So thank you guys for coming out. I really appreciate it. Oh, right. So there was a question. So how did all of this start? Well, it started in 2016. That year, I had just moved to Washington, D.C. I had just taken a new job. It was a good job. It was good. I couldn't complain. But in 2016, if you remember, that was a year that there was a lot happening politically in the world. And issues of race had come to the national stage. And most of my work before then had been around gender and equity. I've been doing a lot of work to support women and girls' rights around the world. But I also felt like in 2016, we had been doing some really good work. Like over the last 20 years, issues around gender were like moving in every country around the world. There were efforts to support women and girls at all levels of society. So it felt like stuff was moving. But in race, it felt like there were all these fractures, and I wanted to help heal the space in some way, but I didn't know what to do. And then I got a ticket to go to the National Museum of African American History and Culture. Has anybody been to the museum? Some of you have. Some of you work there. That museum is incredible. If you go to Washington, D.C., you have a chance, I highly suggest you visit the museum. It's beautiful and it's impactful, and it changed my life. On the second floor of the museum, and it's a tiny little floor that I think maybe most people skip over because it's like the archival floor. Well, there are a bunch of archaeologists in the room, so maybe you don't skip over that floor. No, yeah. But because I lived in DC at the time, I took my time in the museum and I went through every single floor slowly, really paying attention to all of the exhibits. And on that floor was a picture. And it was a picture of a group of predominantly Black women in wetsuits on a boat. I had never seen a picture of a group of Black women in wetsuits on a boat before. So the picture stopped me in my tracks. It reminded me of dreams that I had as a kid Like I was one of these dreamy, nerdy kids who used to read books. My mom was a reading teacher. So she used to bring books home from her reading conferences, big boxes of books. And I loved it. It was like Christmas when she would come home with these books. So I would read them. And the books that I loved were the sci-fi fantasy books, you know, like Madeline L'Engle, A Wrinkle in Time. Yes. Taran Wanderer. I don't know if anybody. Yeah, I loved books like that. So I always wanted to be an adventurer. I wanted to go out with my sword and help save the kingdom in some way. But as a little Black girl growing up, like eventually I realized that people who looked like me were never the heroes in those stories. So I think subconsciously I began to believe that maybe that wasn't a path that would make sense for me. But seeing this picture in the museum of these women who were showing me that they were living a life of adventure, like they were stepping into the space. And then when I read the rest of the placard about them, I discovered that they were a part of this group called Diving with a Purpose, and that their mission, yes, woohoo for Diving with a Purpose. Their mission was to help search for and document slave shipwrecks around the world. And I was like, what? What? Like, what? Who searches for slave ship? Like, who even would think to do such a thing? But I was intrigued. And so right there, I'm making this answer so long. I'm sorry. I just realized it.
Okay. We're here for it.
You will get to read more about this in the book. Like I'm telling you the first chapter of the book. But I was so intrigued by these women and the women were all surrounding this one gentleman, an older Black gentleman who later I found out his name was Ken Stewart, and he was the founder of Diving with a Purpose. So I ended up calling him or them. And Ken and I became friends over a series of calls, and he invited me to come join them. And so I did. I had no idea, though, that it would turn into all of this storytelling. I just wanted to do something that would make a difference. And it felt like surfacing this history, being a part of helping to surface this history, could make a difference in us beginning to heal the space around race. So I joined, and then it just ballooned into more.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, that's
No, I love it. It gave us a lot of context, a lot of understanding. What I'd like to ask you is, you mentioned kind of the storytelling of this narrative of slave ships. Why is this important? Why do you feel like this is something that you felt called to do and that you felt, kind of driven to do?
It's a great question. And I have to say, I didn't feel called to do it originally. I am a journalist by trade, but I worked for women in teen magazines, and I was like the lifestyle editor. So I was doing stuff around food and travel, home. That was my area. I was not thinking about history. As I told you, I sci-fi fantasy future, like that's where I was looking, not to the past. But when I started this work and I started to hang out with the divers and get trained, I was trained by a club in Washington, D.C. Yes, that's called the Underwater Adventure Seekers. Yes, and they are the oldest Black diving club in the United States. I can't do math very quickly. I know there are lots of folks who can do math much quicker than I can. But in 2019, they celebrated their 60th anniversary.
Correct.
Right? So how many years is that now that we're in 2024?
66 years now.
66 years. An all-Black diving club founded in Washington, D.C. When I reached out to Ken, And he invited me to dive. He told okay, so Ken is at the time, I think he was 72 years young. And Ken likes to call me by my full name. So he calls me Tara Roberts. And when I, said that I wanted to be a part of this, he was like, Tara Roberts, I can get you. No, he said, Tara Roberts, you live in the epicenter of Black scuba diving. And I was like, what? And he was like, yes, in Washington, D.C.